Okay, so I had to do this video over. I was like, I'm not gonna put up their first video. Man, have y'all ever heard a person this young? That's why they always say age ain't nothing but a number. You ever heard a young person talk and they have way more sense than people that are like 220? I'm sorry, people that are like 20 years older than them. That's why I say age don't have nothing to do with it. It's about like people who are spiritually advanced. It's just some people I just be talking and I'd be like, wow, man, they just so intelligent. Especially, I love hearing intelligent young women talk. I don't care if they 20, 18, 19, whatever. It's just that's what keeps people in shock. It's like, man, this person just has so much common spiritual sense. So anyway, what was I finna say? Um, I don't want to talk about. I want to talk about competing in sarcastic remarks. Okay, so as you guys know, it's in my nature to be sarcastic. I'm not one of those people that's like, if I'm having a one-on-one conversation where I'm just gonna say something blunt and rude, and you know they don't look right, or I'm not like that. I don't even like people like that. Remember, as blunt and as sarcastic as I am, I'm also an empath. Empaths, we don't. True empaths don't do stuff like that. I'll just say it like if I'm teaching or if I'm angry or something like this. I will just say that. But I want to talk about competing or whatever, competition. And I talked about this before about how the Most High feels about that. For you, what people need to understand is that in order to spiritually advance yourself, I told you, in order to be like a master teacher or get constant downloads from spirit, from your angels, whatever, you have to be in a humble position where not just getting downloads from them, but you have to be able to learn from other people. I told you, it's certain people, there's certain people that had real tough street lives, and they have a lot of street knowledge. I'm not very street inclined. I just know a couple of things because I dated some tough guys before. But it's like I could learn something from them if I hear somebody's story. Oh, this or that, or or somebody that went to college for 20 years. I mean, I'm sorry, not 20 years. Somebody went to college for 4 to 6 years or whatever. It's like they have a lot, and they graduated or whatever. They have a lot of knowledge. So it's like I never put myself as the end all be all. And I said that several times before. Anybody can learn from anybody. You can learn something from a 14-year-old. Or that's what I'm saying. I never think that I'm just, I'm confident, but I don't think that I'm just all that, as you could say. But I want to say this: you have to really, if people wouldn't be so jealous of people or try to compete with people if you constantly keep yourself in a position of learning. I don't see how people could look at my story or look at my channel message or look at the other information I'm sharing about other people or whatever, or just in general message I put with pictures and they frown their nose up unless you just have a demon in you, because it just that doesn't make any type of sense to me. That's not, like I said before, I can't see myself outside myself. I just know my intentions and how I think. If I'm told to get online and share it, I'll share it. Now I can understand all day when people that are if people that are like Masons or they're a part of the occult, they would get offended because they try to hide that. Or the people I'm talking about, they get offended because I'm exposing their deception and a satanic agenda. But I don't understand how. It's like the only way I think about people competing with the messages that I'm putting, especially if they're downloads from my angels and stuff, is that they just have to have a demon in them, because it's like if people learn from you, then they wouldn't even feel to be in competition with you. That's what I did. It's like I look over the years, even with the reality shows I used to watch before I was totally awakened. It's just I use old clips I used to watch, and I'm able to analyze them now that I'm waking. Or this, I remember this, or blah 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 blah. Like with that Beyonce video I did when I was showing in that Deja Vu video, how she was flipping the dress, and I was like, oh, that's a classic drag queen move. And I ain't think about that till I was led to make that video like that. Then I thought while I was making the video, I was like, oh, I went back and I thought about New York when she was on the Flavor of Love, which I used to always watch it, and I'm able to put. That's what I'm saying. When you learn from people, which I learn still to this day from other people. When you learn, it's like you won't have to always be in a position of copying. And remember, I explained copying. It's like everybody pulls from here to there. People that have inspired me, I pull from there. something somebody may say, but I always try to say, oh, I heard this or blah 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 blah. But it's just like you have to really think about how it looks. That's like I can't see myself, because I really admire Shirley Lubin, but I can't see myself looking at her and hearing her story. And even though her story isn't even close to mine, because she had a hard life in the porn industry, prostitution. But even though my story isn't like that, it's still I've had dealings like that before. Hard life, parents didn't care, whatever, promiscuous, whatever. But it's just like I can't see myself hearing her talking. Okay, so she did it like this. Okay, let me try to say what she said, but do it better and a little bit longer and be more animated. It's like I don't, because you have to. One thing you have to realize is that when you're in the field of let's just talk about spirituality and God. I don't care about nothing else about the other stuff. Whatever people compete for, singing or dancing, which you're not supposed to compete in it either. But when it comes to talking about God, there's not supposed to be no competition in it. You don't. I can't see myself. Oh yeah, well, yeah, she used to be a porn star and bringing up her past and then telling my story. Well, I did this, but at least I was in the porn industry. I wasn't in there. Like, it's like because I learned from her and she inspired me. It's like it inspired me to stand in my truth, which I always stood in my truth, but I just got online and did it. So that's what I'm saying. People just I don't even understand why people do certain things. And I always go back to the Passion of Christ. Like the Passion of Christ, when they were beating on him and hitting him and slashing him and laughing and thought that was funny. It's like you have to think about that as being symbolic. Because I told you guys before, God is the same God yesterday as he is today. So if I'm under divine protection, which I am, because I should be dead by now from all the spills, and let's just keep it real. If I wasn't highly protected right now, the people that gang stalking you, they would have been try. I heard several readings about somebody have a gun and they was plotting on trying to come in here, and I heard somebody say that somebody was acting like a locksmith, and when I left they came in here and people be looking around and just like little weird stuff. I'll leave and come back. This was like last month, and it was a card in my house that said something about what do you call it? The people that spray or whatever for bugs. And I was like, out of all the days when I start working, then they just want to come on one particular day and leave a car. It's like they do like little slick stuff. But that's what I'm saying. When you have people that do stuff like that, first of all, when you have somebody that's constantly coming to your house and circling and back and forth, you're dealing with a complete psychopath and demons. Because if you really look on a logical sense level, first of all, you have to look at if a person, I don't give a damn if people are getting paid for that or not, but you have to look at who they're doing it to, why they're doing it, and then you have to look at the age of people, especially if they have children or their grandfathers. So that's like kind of, and I hate to even touch on that because it's like that's giving people energy, and it's like I'm just at the point I just ignore it. You're dealing with people. That's if you really just think about it. It's really not funny because after a while, it's like you start looking. It's funny because you know that they're ignorant, but it's like they just keep going. It's like that's dangerous. Think about that. For you to do that every day, repetitively, or when you can't do it, get other people to do it. It's a big group, and they're doing it, and you're not famous. You're online, sending messages. It's like you know for sure that you're dealing with either psychopaths or some people that have demons in them. That goes far beyond spell work or whatever. That's just demons. So divine protection is protecting you from that. These people cannot touch you. They cannot, or you would be protected. They can't kill you. They can't do none of that stuff. So that's what I'm saying. It's like when in the Passion of Christ, when they were hitting them and beating them and stuff like that, symbolic is as if they kept on throwing jabs at them. Because remember, the Most High who came down here to save us was under divine protection. But it's like you look at that, you're like, how can they even be jealous of a person like that? And they were delighted in the movie beating the Messiah, which means that in real life they were delighted in throwing jabs and seeing him hurt. And it's like, but remember, look at who they was doing it to. So the only type of people that would do something like that to the Messiah would have to be what? Because a person like me, if I was to see something like that, I would completely snap, and they would have had to beat me too. If I just saw that, knowing who he was, because I would have completely snapped and tried to kill those guys. I don't care if I'm a female or nothing. It's like I would have had his back. That's the Messiah. So when you think about, just think about Think about seeing somebody who you know is humble, who you know by themselves, who you know is isolated, who you know everybody going against. They just and remember, for them to be that mad at him, they had to be demons. But he had to have been doing something that they found that because they were of a high richer status, and he was like he was dressed like a poor man. For them to look at him like that and envy him, he had to be doing something like just that they never seen before. To even if it wasn't turning water to wine, just in general, he had to be doing something or saying something that caught the attention of a lot of people. So for them to be that angry, it's like number one, to get the crowd all hyped up like that, they had to have lied on him. Because if people would really snap out of the delusional reality that they're in, and I'm sorry, if people would snap out of the delusional world that they're in and come back to reality, they would have to really stop and think, why am I doing this? They see your character, but they still try to go against you and discredit you. So many things I've been told about lies, like just that's why I said tarot readers, the good ones or whatever, they bring a lot of, I'm talking about the righteous ones, they bring a lot of, meaning the pure hearted ones that tell the truth, they bring a lot of clarity to you. I've heard so many different readings over the last year, and I've heard doctors, or they literally said doctors are lying to you. I shared it on my page. I had no idea a doctor would lie. Some of the doctors saying, "Who she acting like she all spiritual and blah blah blah." And I've actually had blood drawn, got tested. Nothing is. I have nothing. Just like I said, it's just like people. They just. I just can't picture myself because the way I am, as humble as I am, I don't see myself. I know that I'm not arrogant. I never got called arrogant in my whole entire life until I got online and started spreading these messages. Because a lot of people in the past kind of thought of me as lost or reckless, or just in general. Just I was always smart, quiet, and stuff. Just lost. But I was never like, she thinks shot. That's what I'm saying. It's like people, they just do weird stuff. It's like they want to see you in a submissive position, but or with your head, like, oh man. That's what I'm saying. People just do like weird stuff. I can't see myself just hearing somebody. The only reason why the real raw truth will hurt you, especially if it's done in a gentle type way and you know it's the truth, is if you're a demon and you like to live in lies. So that's what I'm saying. I don't try to figure stuff out anymore. I question my mind, why they sitting out beside my house, why they still blowing them horns or whatever. The minute I wake up, that's what made me think that it's a camera or something in here, or a device, or somebody's hacking through my phone. Because the minute I wake up, and I'm trying to stop doing this, but the second I wake up, I grab my phone and I look at the time, or I get on for like a few minutes, and then, before I get up and stir around. But as soon as I get up, then it's like, that's when I hear some talk. No matter how early it is, whatever, I'll hear a horn honk. Or so that's what I'm like, it's like, I pay attention to everything. I'll go in, my room, and I'll be just chilling there, towards the nighttime and evening time, like around now, that's when I start hearing a lot of voices. But not like crazy voices. I mean, the walls are thin over here, and I'll hear a lot of people outside. So like, I just do certain things. Like, I'll go from my room and come in here, and then every time I come in here, I hear some walking or whatever. It's just like I said before, people who are not sensitive to energy and don't have psychic abilities, they'll look at you and they'll be like, she's paranoid, she's crazy. But that's why I said, don't be so quick to discredit people, because just don't be so, if you don't understand something, don't ever be so quick to be like, they're great, because God will put you in that same position. And everything that I've ever said before, and especially as being a messenger, things that I've said before, especially when it comes to karma, because I know how it works, it usually happens. One of the people, whatever, that one of the main people that come against me online or say this or say that, it's like one of the reasons why I'm not going back and forth with particular people is because I already know the karma that's coming for them. And so I said, people, they'll try their best to try to come at you, but I told you, whatever you put out there, you have to get back. Me too, and I'm not exempt to that. One time I said, it was this girl online, she was saying something real silly, just making countless videos of someone online that I used to follow, that I liked. I thought she was a good narc speaker, and I went on the other lady's comments, and I was like, why you keep on blah 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 blah. She was a supporter of Kevin Samuels, and I didn't like her. And then Later on, I realized, I'm sorry, like about a week later, somebody wrote something silly on my comment. So it's like whatever you put out, even if it's little, no matter who you are, you have to get it back. So you know, okay, I was like, I ain't gonna do that no more, cause as you can see, I don't like people on my stuff, and I erased the comment I put on her channel. I just don't like, and this was like what months big. So you know, nobody's perfect. Nobody is what I see, but it's just certain things that just people do. It's like if people wake up, and I'm snapping my fingers because I know that they're gonna hear. You gotta wake up to the reality and be like, wait a minute. Even if I'm getting paid, let's say you're getting $110, I hope people ain't doing it for free because that will really be beyond degrading. But even if you get money, just think in your mind. Okay, I see this girl online and she's giving messages. Even if I've heard certain things about a certain particular person's sister or a friend was hacked my account and been hacked it for a long time, and going through the files to try to see if they find something. Anything I go on YouTube, they can see in the history list every video I go to. That's what I'm saying. For you to even be able to control someone's views through a bot account on YouTube and lower the views or not let them all show up or whatever, or stop it for whatever you're doing, you have control over somebody's phone too, because it's like you have their account information. So for all these, that's what I'm saying. For like, what has it been? How long have I been living here? About a year and a half or whatever. So if every day people are following you, watching you, they get your phone conversations, they know you don't talk to nobody, they see where you go. I haven't been to a club since I moved here, been on a date or nothing. So if you're following, regardless of who it is, if you following somebody every day, if you listen to them, if whatever you're doing, it's like you're not finding it. But yet you still know the truth about somebody, but you continue to gang stalk and torture and attempt to torture, follow and this, and then you still on top of that add lies. Then it's like you have to come to the reality that that person is not the problem, it's you. But what I found is that this is what I think. I think when people do certain things like that, they get so deep in that they don't want to accept the truth that they're fucked up. And I'm just being honest. You don't want to accept the truth that you went against somebody wrongfully. You lied on somebody wrongfully. So it's like you got to put a scenario there. When people can't find nothing, it's like they got to put something on you, or they got to find some pity. Or that's what I'm saying. People just do like silly, stupid stuff. I never once have I gotten on my channel and said, even though I'm an Earth Angel, Sarsi, which is an alien or whatever, and people who don't understand it, they're gonna look at you like you crazy, like you trying to say you're Uma Thurman from My Super Ex-Girlfriend. Nothing like that. It's like literally you're a star seed, is their soul is not from here. From what I've heard about Earth Angels is that this is like reincarnation. They volunteered to come down here. They saw what was going on down here and they want to come down here and help, and they choose the strongest ones. And it's like you got to come here, but when you come here you got to be actually born and live life not knowing who you are. That way you can feel and experience as an average person. That way when you speak you can understand what other people are going through who are not awakened. If I was to always have been born an Earth Angel, it's like you won't really have no experience, or you'll be superficial. I'm an Earth Angel. Can you imagine somebody 6 years old or 12 years old going around saying they're an Earth Angel? It's like, okay, and what? No, I had to go through a whole bunch of different crazy things in order to rise up and be. I'm not perfect. I'm not. Even though I don't do anything now, but I'm not perfect. That's why I'm really relatable. And empaths in general are sensitive to people. We're very, very relatable to other people because we've got put in certain situations and been there, done that. That's why we can teach on it. We can see things so clearly. You know, I told you guys before, therapists, cops, judges, lawyers, DAs, investigators, just street people in general. People, they know how to. Certain people, you don't have to be an empath in order to analyze people, and especially judges. Judges are able to look at people and they can analyze, and they can, because they deal with so many people back and forth, and they're put in a position to make a final judgment call if this person should go to prison, blah blah blah. But they know how to analyze people and look and judge the character of people. Empaths naturally are born like that, but once we learn to trust it, we can't be touched or whatever, because it's just a natural ability to be able to look at somebody and be like, okay, even if empaths study all day, the how a person look, if you blink this way, look this way, that they're lying. It's like empaths, we just know. It's just and it's not like we're looking at you to see if you're lying. It's just a natural. I can look at somebody. I could look at somebody and if they're speaking and tell if they're being genuine or if they'll have a vendetta issue. And I'm not always right or whatever, and I haven't always gotten it right the first time. But after so many backstabs and betrayals, it's like I could look at somebody and just tell if they full of shit. I could look at somebody and see if they're talking, and if they're talking out of a place of arrogance and they just really hate you, or they don't like you, but they just put it on the front like they do. Or I just know how to read people very well. But I had to get to that point because when I first started getting online telling truth videos, it's like I went through a lot, the magic, this, the trap, all this stuff. And what I just learned is you just really have to learn to master yourself, that it's not you. Even when you're by yourself, it's not you. For people to gather up and do all that, which you know that real chosen ones would never do, you have to realize that these people not only have a psychological problem, but they're demons. It's not you. But when it's so many narcs, and you are a narc if you're a narcissist, which is a demon or a devil. If you keep, it's like people just will look at you and frown up, even if you're humble. Even something should tell you that even if you're humble, even if you're nice, even if you treat people with respect, even if you share and support people, if you do all that and people still take the time out of that, who she thinks she is. You're being too arrogant. What? Look, but you're just sitting online sharing information, and that's what I'm saying. It's like that should let you know that those people are envious of you, and let you know that you should take it as a compliment, because it's like people hate on you for no reason. It's not really a compliment, but people hate on you for no reason. That means you're doing the right thing, especially if they know your character and they still do it. That lets you know that it's them and not you. So we'll just say that. So that's all I have for now. Good night.